I got home from a 5-day work trip with a dying phone and one goal: shower, bed, silence. Then my headlights caught my 7-year-old Lily standing by our gate like someone parked her there. Snow glued to her pants. Her lips were blue. She whispered, "Grandma said the house is sold. She said I'm homeless. She told me to wait." I walked inside and saw a giant sold sign, boxes with my name and my parents, Diane and Robert, packing my life like it was theirs. I didn't scream. I just said, "Okay." But that okay was revenge, the kind that comes with paperwork. Am I in the wrong? What would you do? Comment and subscribe for the fallout because it gets worse. I thought I was coming home. 5 days on the road, fake smiling through great conversation dinners, and a flight that landed late enough to make my bones feel hollow. My phone was at 2%. I turned onto my street on autopilot until my headlights caught a tiny shape by the front gate. Lily, not running, not playing, just standing there like someone had placed her and forgotten her. I jumped out. "Lily!" I kept my voice even because panic is contagious. She turned slowly and her face was ghost white. Snow clung to her pant knees. Her lashes were wet. Her lips had that bluish tint that makes every parent's stomach drop. "Mom," she said. Not relief, a question. I crouched and grabbed her arms. Her skin was ice. "Hey, I'm here. How long have you been out here?" She shrugged. "A while." I wrapped my coat around her and pulled her close. She was stiff at first. Then her body started shaking. Pure shivers, not sobs. I looked up and saw it. A giant sold sign in my yard. Bright red letters like a celebration. "Sweetie," I whispered, "tell me what happened." She swallowed. "Dad brought me, like normal. He waved and drove away. I knocked a lot. Grandma opened the door a little." Her voice got smaller. "She said the house was sold. She said, I'm homeless, and I should wait at the gate." My chest went hot, then cold. "Did she let you inside at all?" Lily shook her head. "She said I don't live here anymore." I took her hand and walked to the door. It wasn't locked. That detail felt loud. Inside, the house smelled wrong. Tape, cardboard, cleaning spray, that hollow scent of rooms being emptied. Boxes everywhere. Some labeled with my name, some labeled with Lily's. My mom, Diane, stepped out like I'd interrupted her schedule. My dad, Robert, hovered behind her holding packing tape. My sister, Ashley, sat at the table scrolling her phone like this was background noise. "You're back," Mom said, annoyed. "I live here," I said. "Why was my child outside in the snow?" "She had a coat," Mom shrugged. "You told her she was homeless," I said. Mom's face stayed calm. "It's not untrue." I looked at Dad. "What is going on?" Dad cleared his throat. "We sold the house." My brain stalled. "You did what?" "We handled it," Mom said, slow and patient, like I was 7. "You travel. You're divorced. You don't need something this big. Ashley needs help." Ashley looked up and smiled. "It's for the family." "You're not on the deed," I said. Dad puffed up. "We had power of attorney." "For emergencies," I said. "School forms, medical decisions, not selling my home." Mom waved a hand. "Details." I looked down at Lily. Her face was pressed into my sweater. Her fingers twisted tight like she thought I might vanish. And I heard myself answer, calm and flat. "Okay." Mom blinked. "Excuse me." "Okay," I repeated. No arguing, no threats, no explanation. I walked Lily back outside, buckled her into the car, and said, "We're not homeless, not even close." If you're thinking, what kind of mom just says, okay? Hold that thought, because that okay wasn't surrender. It was the first step of revenge. We drove to a motel, beige carpet, and a lamp pretending to be cozy. Lily fell asleep, clutching my sleeve like a lifeline. I stared at the ceiling thinking, they didn't just cross a line. They taught my kid she could be discarded. What would you do next? Morning came like nothing happened. Lily woke up hungry, thank God, and demanded waffles. I let her drown them in syrup. Today, I wasn't the health police. I was the stability police. With cartoons on in the background, I stepped into the hallway and called the non-emergency line. I kept it factual because feelings don't file reports. My daughter is 7. She was denied entry to her home. She was told she was homeless. She was left outside in snow for approximately 4 hours. The dispatcher went quiet, then asked for names, times, and the address. Case number, documentation. Then I called my ex, Kyle, because I needed one hard detail. What time did you drop Lily off? He said, around 2. I got home after 6, 4 hours. His voice tightened when he understood. Megan, I'm not blaming you, I said. I just needed the time. Next call, a lawyer, a coworker texted me with one line. Call him, he moves fast. The attorney, Mr. Carter, didn't do sympathy face. He sorted facts like folders. You're the sole owner? Yes. You signed anything authorizing a sale? No. Are they on the deed? No. Then whatever they're doing is either not finished, not valid, or not lawful, he said. I told him about the limited power of attorney meant for school and emergencies. He asked the question that mattered. Does it allow real estate transactions? No. Good, he said. Do not contact them. Let them be surprised. By mid-afternoon, my phone started vibrating nonstop. Mom, Dad, Ashley. I didn't answer. 16 hours after I'd said okay, the screaming started on their end. I didn't hear it live. I got it in voicemail. Dad first, voice sharp and too high. Megan, we just got a call. They said the file is frozen. They're asking questions. This is ridiculous. Then Mom, clipped and furious. They're accusing us. You need to fix this immediately. Ashley texted, what did you do? I looked at Lily on the bed, cereal in a paper cup, eyes locked on cartoons like animation was safer than reality. Are they yelling? She asked. They don't like being told no, I said. 3 days later, I sat in Mr. Carter's office. He opened a folder. Here's what happened. My parents had listed my house with a realtor. An offer came in. They accepted it. That's why the sold sign went up. Under contract is not the same as sold, he said. Ownership transfers at closing. He contacted the title company and put them on notice. Sole owner disputes authorization. That triggers a hold. Then the title company asked my parents to prove authority to sell a house they don't own. They tried, Mr. Carter said, and slid a document across the desk. It had my name, my signature, and brand new language I never agreed to. Authority to sell real estate, transfer ownership, sign closing papers. That's not what I signed, I said. I know, he replied. They altered it, materially, after the fact. Forgery. Mr. Carter tapped the page. This is why they're panicking. The moment you dispute it and they produce this version, it becomes a fraud review. So my parents weren't helping the family. They were committing a crime, and they used my 7-year-old as the price of entry. Hit like if your blood is boiling, and tell me, am I in the wrong? Or is this the kind of revenge that's spelled in ink? That night, I shut my phone off, watched Lily sleep without shivering, and promised myself, nobody who harms her gets access again. Once the fraud report started moving, my parents switched tactics. They called, begged, and yelled, then hit me with, how could you do this to us? Like I hadn't just found my kid half frozen at a gate. Mr. Carter handled it the adult way, formally. He revoked the power of attorney in writing. He notified the realtor and title company that any sale was unauthorized. Then he said the obvious part out loud, your parents are still inside your house. Yeah, I said, that ends. He issued a notice to vacate, an actual deadline on paper. I didn't warn them. I didn't negotiate. I'd learned you don't bargain with people who forge your signature. The deadline passed, they didn't move. So enforcement was scheduled. I parked down the street because I didn't need a front row seat to my mother's meltdown. The deputy knocked. Calm, professional. He explained. He waited. And then the house erupted. My mom's voice sliced through the door. This is our home. Dad did his usual hover and plead routine. We can talk about this, we're family. Ashley showed up crying loudly enough to be heard from the sidewalk, like volume could rewrite the law. None of it mattered. Paper doesn't care who's mad. Eventually, they came out with trash bags and angry faces. My mom spotted me and marched over like proximity was power. "I hope you're proud," she snapped. I kept my voice calm. "I'm relieved," I said. "Pride can come later." The deputy checked the lock and handed me the keys. "It's secured." "Thank you," I said, and meant it. Before I brought Lily back, I walked through the house alone. Every room felt off, walls too bare, air too quiet, like the place was holding its breath. In the hallway, I found a box labeled Lily's room in my mom's handwriting. Inside were her stuffed bunny, her school photos, and a crumpled drawing that said home in bubble letters. My hand started shaking, not from fear, from rage. I changed the locks that afternoon. I reset every password I could think of. I taped the deputy's card to the fridge like a charm. Then I sat on the kitchen floor and cried for exactly 5 minutes because Lily needed me standing. When I stood up, lighter, the house finally exhaled with me. That evening, I brought Lily home. She paused in the doorway, scanning the walls like the house might betray her again. "They're gone?" she asked. "Yeah," I said, "they're gone." She took off her shoes and placed them by the door slowly, carefully, like she was reclaiming territory. Then she stared at the empty spot where her drawings used to be. "Can I put them back?" she asked. My throat burned. "All of them," I said, "every single one." That night, she slept through without waking once. No coat folded like a shield, just sleep, deep and deserved. 6 months later, the system finished what I started. My parents were charged, forgery and child endangerment, probation, heavy fines, mandatory classes they complained about because of course they did. Ashley called it too harsh. My mom called it humiliating. My dad called it a misunderstanding. But you don't misunderstand a forged signature, and you don't accidentally leave a 7-year-old outside in the snow. So now we don't speak. No calls, no updates. Lily calls our house home again. If you're still here, share this with someone who thinks, but their family is a free pass. Because sometimes the only safe revenge is the kind that comes with a case number. People love to say, but their family, like DNA is a permission slip. Here's what I learned the hard way. Boundaries aren't cruelty, they're safety. The moment my parents told Lily she was homeless, they stopped being grandparents and started being a threat. My revenge wasn't loud, it wasn't petty. It was receipts, case numbers, and a lawyer who spoke fluent consequences. Do I feel guilty sometimes? Honestly, my body still tries to because I was trained to keep the peace. But then I remember Lily's blue lips at that gate, and the guilt evaporates. If I could go back, I'd do one thing sooner. I'd stop being reasonable with unreasonable people. So tell me, am I in the wrong? Or was this the only way to protect a kid who deserves to feel safe in her own home? If this hit a nerve, drop your take in the comments, share it with someone who needs the reminder, and subscribe. I've got more stories where family learns the law is louder than their excuses. Lily sleeps through the night now, and she laughs without checking the door first. If you're stuck in a similar mess, please document everything and trust your instincts.